Hello, First United Methodist family. I'm Kody. I'm on staff at First Methodist, and I'm the director of the Harbor in downtown Dothan. And just praying this video, this good word today finds you well. And wanted to give you some encouragement today. So as we all know, we are still in midst of this COVID season. And I'm sure most of us are probably saying, I just wish I could stop hearing about it. But the fact is, it's still all around us. One thing that has happened is some of the sports has begun again. The NBA is back in session in Orlando. They call it the NBA bubble. Major League Baseball is playing again, although no fans and things are very different. But what I have noticed about sports is some athletes in this COVID season prepared themselves very different than others. These athletes, whether their season shut down or they had limited access to training and facilities, some athletes, you can tell on the field, have not been as conditioned as well. There has been a plethora of injuries. Even in baseball on starting day, some pitchers were hurt, arms were hurt. And what that means is some did not have the adequate training, didn't spend this COVID season because life was very different, didn't spend it in the proper training regimen. Have even noticed, especially in the NBA, some athletes seem much more out of shape condition-wise than others. And it's led to a lackluster play for some. It's led to their team struggling for some, while others are the opposite. Some athletes really focused in this COVID season, not knowing what the situation would be or if there would be a season, but they still prepared. It reminds me of Scripture saying, be prepared in season and out of season. They still prepared, and you could see them come back after this COVID shutdown season in athletics. Their bodies were transformed, their conditioning was off the charts. So some really prepared, and it seems like some didn't. The ones who prepared are succeeding. The ones who didn't, maybe they're conditioning or maybe they're having injuries. And it reminded me a lot about our Christ life and our ministry life. In this COVID season, I think a lot of us thought, you know what, we'll just weather this storm, weather this pandemic, and we'll get back to normal. But when March turned to April and April to May, and now we found ourselves in August, we're not just getting back to normal. No matter when we sort of get back to normal, ministry, life, and church will considerably be different for the foreseeable future. And so I asked myself, in relation to seeing these athletes, how are we spiritually conditioning, especially in season and out? Are we just kind of hanging on because we can't go to in-person worship? Are we just kind of hanging on because much of what we've known in our spiritual life has been decreased or quarantined? Or are we really spiritually training through His Word and through prayer and through relationships? Are we really spiritually training? Are we getting our spiritual body and our ministry body absolutely in shape, not only to reach in this season that is so necessary, but to also prepare for a harvest that is to come? Or are we kind of just going on like some of the athletes did and not conditioning? And what's going to happen is maybe we're not going to get injured, but our fruit will be lacking and less because of our lack of conditioning now. So I encourage you, faith family, in this season, don't just sit and wonder when the next season of ministry is going to happen, but spiritually prepare yourself deeply right now. As I said, through word and through scripture, and we can worship, and we might not have all the ways that we normally do, but our relationship is, first of all, here, God and us. Then we have relationships to the world and with others. So let's spiritually condition ourselves so that when that season comes, both now and in the future, we're not going to be risking a lack of fruit. So I think we can learn a lot from those athletes. And I think this season is one to get in spiritual shape. Be blessed, First Methodist family. We'll talk to you soon.